Okay.
You're ready.
Bring this meeting to order for the executive committee meeting of August 2nd, 2023. Board members, staff, guests, and members of the public are reminded that the full authority or committee meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the authority's website along with the official written minutes. As such, comments and opinions expressed may be published, and any comments expressed by individual board members, guests, and the general public are their own and do not represent the opinions and comments of the full authority and Kettle Creek Conservation Authority Board of Directors. The recorded video of the full authority meeting is not considered the official record of that meeting. The official record of the full authority meeting shall consist solely of the minutes approved by the full authority. I'll ask if there are any peculiar interests. See none, I'll turn the floor over to Elizabeth.
I'm just gonna, I hear Todd.
Your time.
Hey.
Okay. So the first item on the agenda was the administrative bylaw update. There was a number of changes that were required as a result of the Ontario not-for-profit corporations. We needed to add certain things that had come out of the Conservation Authorities Act update, such as the possibility that an agricultural representative would be appointed by the minister. So that's now reflected in some of the membership clauses of the admin bylaw. And then there was other updates surrounding Ontario Regulation 402-22 for information requirements and things relative to the budget and levy. And there was did have Conservation Ontario provided a number of the updates through a committee that they had struck. They floated it legal, but I also floated it through Grant. So he's reviewed all these edits and provided just some little housekeeping in addition to what CEO had recommended. So the one that I did want to highlight today was relative to our levy and budget practices and the change that came about because of Regulation 402-22. So on the left-hand side of the chart, you can see what our historical practice was, and that was we worked through the levy and budget through an internal process here, and then we always provided it out to our member municipalities, usually sometime in January, with a 30-day notice that we were going to approve the budget and levy at our annual general meeting. And that gave them an opportunity to give us any feedback from their municipal councils in terms of that circulation. And then the levy and budget was approved by a recorded weighted majority. The levy and budget was presented at the AGM then and approved using a recorded weighted vote. So that's how we've historically done it. Ontario Regulation 402 slightly changes that, and it breaks it down into 3 phases. The first phase is we'll have to, at a meeting of the full authority, announce that we're approving the budget for public consultation. So we'll approve a draft budget and it will be circulated to the municipalities and posted on our website as an opportunity for public consultation. The next stage is approval of the apportionment for the levy. And that has to be a separate meeting where you look to approve that levy and apportionment and then set it out. Then we have to give a notice of meeting at least 30 days in advance of that meeting that we're holding that meeting to approve the apportionment. Once that the apportionment needs to be approved before the budget is approved. So staff are proposing that that would happen at the January meeting. The January meeting, we would look at the levy, you would approve the levy. Once the levy is approved, then we would move to approving the final budget. And I'm suggesting that that final budget be approved at the annual general meeting. 402, the Regulation 402 also stipulates that if the board wants the budget to be approved with a weighted vote, the bylaws need to reflect that. And because we have historically always approved both the budget and levy with the weighted vote, they've updated the admin bylaw to reflect that we would continue to pass the budget with a weighted vote.
So apportionment's always been based on population.
The apportionment they're referring there to is the apportionment would still be based on population. The way they use the word apportionment is the levy. So the levy itself, so whether it's a 3% increase, a 4% increase in the apportionment that we're using, it also comes into effect those apportionment agreements that were coming out. It does kind of separate those two out into the mandatory apportionment, which would be our traditional levy. And then you could choose to do a different levy increase for the category 3 programs and services. So the mandatory could be you set the levy at 11%. You could say, but for the non-mandatory, we're going to set the levy at like 3%. So that would play into what happens at that approval of apportionment meeting. So I don't see it as a big change from the way we normally do things. It's just separating it out into more of a phased process than something that's happening all at once and formalizing it. So the motion that I have for you today is, again, that I've approved, that I've updated that admin bylaw to reflect that we would approve by a weighted vote the budget. And the recommendation today is just to that the updates to the KCC administrative bylaw be recommended to the full authority for approval.
Questions? Go ahead,
That
John.
might not be a question to be answered, but like, why would they change this?
I think the goal behind most of those regulative and legislative changes has been to give the municipalities more of a say in what the levy is set at, and that they have input into what we're setting our levy, what we're setting our budget as. I think locally, we've always worked very closely with our municipalities, and it's been a two-way communication process in terms of setting those levies and setting the budget. I don't know that that's 100% the case across the province in terms of how other municipalities and CAs have worked together, which may have driven that change.
Any other questions? Comments? If not, we have a recommendation before you. We'll move seconder for the recommendation. Right, John seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Okay.
So, motion to go into close.
Yes, please.
Need a mover and seconder, please do it. Todd. All in favor? Motion carries.
If you bear with me, I'll just end the recording here.